Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 9th, just shortly ahead of the market open. Hope you're all having a fabulous day so far, but let's jump into this video real quick. Just a real quick one, we'll talk about GameStop, because what alerted me, remember we were talking about the $25 calls yesterday. So we look up here in the top chains by volume, we're looking at net impact to that options yesterday. Yesterday, GameStop, you can see the net put premium declined in the day. Shortly after the morning, net call premium started to move up. So let's take a look at that. And we look at these $25 calls, but the net impact, as well as those $45 puts. So let's take a look at that for January in that regard. Because what I think happened with the $25, let's see here. We're going to take a look at those $25 calls. So we see here yesterday, put premium increasing, net call premium declining as price. Let's see, yesterday's low, and we'll get to the chart also. Yesterday's low at 22.97, and so as of recording, shortly before the open, stocks at 23.12. We talked yesterday about those 9-day and 21 EMA, so we saw those as the 50 SMAs crossing over the 200, kind of a bearish sentiment in that regard on the daily. If you think of the 50 SMA crossing the 200, kind of a bearish sentiment in regards to that like technical indicator there. But if you look at your EMAs there for yesterday, the 9 EMA at 23.27 and the 21-day EMA at 23.60, the stock closed at 23.43. So just shy of the 9-day EMA, which, I mean, nothing to be upset about when you consider what the rest of the market has been doing since last week. So, I mean, it is what it is in that regard. Let's say the price 23.12 this morning, right there at the 9-day EMA if you include extended hours trading, which I usually don't on the chart. But let's jump back over that. I don't want to get too distracted. So we saw that net premium was negative 3.2 mil yesterday, about 33 mil in total premium, but the net put premium was up 2.32 mil up here, and call premium was down, almost down a million for the day. So what I noticed was the $25 calls for January, and we're going to look at those because we talked about that. I talked about in the video the positioning of these traders, and I think this particular trader had cold feet, and I'm going to get into that. So if we look at the activity here, you see the amount of bid volume here, and this is just the last 3 days when this started to happen on the $25 call for January. Note the 4,400 bid volume. Note the 4,900 ask volume, and that'll be important. Also note these candle sizes, okay? So if we look down historically, we can see on April 7th, Monday, we saw 4,000. We talked about this. We saw the volume come in on Monday. They were being sold, though, about nearly $3 million in total premium, as the price was more towards the bid, suggesting they were sold to open. Trader might have had a bearish sentiment and wanted to collect some option premium. So if we look there on April 7th, here is that transaction. Well, we can see that volume carried over into open interest. So if we look at April 7th, we can see that bid volume there, 1,600, and then another 1,000, so about 2,600. Pretty close to the 2,800 that carried over a new open interest from Monday's selling. Well, if you look yesterday, I'll put it on the 1 day so you can see it. I suspect this trader bought these back and closed the position, at least that, only because the open interest decreased this morning. So the 2.8 mil and then total premium 2.5. So basically sold about 3 mil worth and bought them back at 2.5. So probably made a quick 300 grand there, just depending on, because see, they were selling those at 692 and 700. So we'll just say 700 each, and more than likely bought them back at 630 and then at 625. So definitely made some money. Like I said, the total premium on Monday was 2.8. Total premium yesterday 2.5. So while everybody was talking, oh look, they're loading $25 calls for January, 2.5 million premium, because I saw the posts, you got to go back with this flow. You have to go back and look what transpired before it. Immediately, And I know that's because I have a lot of time and experience with unusual whales. But immediately, the first thing that jumps out when you zoom out on some days on a contract, when you see these big, large candle of big, large sell, big, large buy, that's probably the exact same trader. And like I said, they made some money. They probably made, see, 2.8, the difference there, about 350. So I'd say about 200 to 300 grand they probably made, if that's exactly what happened. And my guess is it is. They sold to open those calls here, even though there was theta behind them. And then as price declined, just said, hey, I'm going to take my money. I don't blame them. Quick 10%, I mean, yeah, so it depends on the position, though. You got to also think who was selling those calls. So, for example, about 2,800 calls, not a lot in volume. I mean, it is about $3 million roughly, but 2,800 calls represents about 281,000 shares. So, if you think of it in that regard, a potential, or it's going to be a larger stockholder that's got stock that more than likely sold those calls. So, that was something I saw. So, everybody, if you look and just take the $25 calls for January face value yesterday, be like, oh, look, there's 15,000 volume, 2,500 total premium. Yeah, the OI decreased, though. You got to look at the full thing. So I'm not 100% on that one. So here were your other highest volume contracts yesterday. We talked about that was the $25 yesterday, which everything got smoked at the open. That's what happens, especially on short dated and buying anything with high implied volatility. That's going to happen. So we saw the premium coming in the last few days. A million, 2 million, and then 750,000. So the market's open now, so my data is going to get skewed here. But those 25s yesterday, you can see what happened. They slammed them right at the open at 85, closed up shop down at 40, so lost about half of their value. So as of now, the market open. Let's take a look here. GameStop at 23.45, and here are your updated EMAs and moving averages on the top left corner of your screen right over here. So we've got the, let's see, the 9-day EMA at 23.26 and the 21-day EMA at 23.58. Stocks at 23.44. So it is trading right above its 9-day exponential moving average. Hey, take it for what it's worth in that regard. And let's see. So if you want to pause here, this was our highest contracts yesterday. 25s for next week. A lot of the short dated, all out of the money, mostly out of the money contracts. Let's take a look at it. We'll see where bulk of that cash was spent on Tuesday during trading. Let's use April 8th here. We can take a look at my highest premium here. Yeah, those $25 calls, like I said, bought, but I believe they were bought back from what was previously sold. Some more transacting here. I assume arbitrage with these deep in the money puts. You have the 85 and the 95, but we're seeing some mid fill here. More than likely arbitrage. $20 calls for January. Let's see what changed there in that regard yesterday. So had 1,000 come through. About 620 in new open interest. So let's see. Looks like some selling already this morning. We'll see about that. Yeah, this is right now as of filming. So 51 just went through at $8 each, 800 each for the contract. Selling in the money calls. Somebody could be looking to get a sign because it's $20 call and it's filling at $8. So essentially is a $28 share price. Stock's trading at $23.70. So if you didn't mind being assigned and wanted to leave your GameStop position, that's one way you could do it. Yeah, if you want to know more about that, let me know. Reply to this. I want to talk more about unwinding positions and hedging and selling calls and selling puts and all of that, but I'm not sure if everybody's ready. So if you're ready for that, let me know. Reply to the video like we're ready. And I know we talk about it a lot during the videos, but not everybody watches the videos. In fact, not a lot of people do and don't watch them all the way through, so I know they miss a lot. And I know we talked about moving them over to YouTube, so maybe we should do that as well. But, it is what it is. So you can take a look here. Here's your premium column. So highest premium spent yesterday. I try to look at things 500,000 or higher. So you're welcome to pause or take a screenshot and take a look at what you see. And we'll take a look at how it plays out. 23.65. So moving up just a little bit this morning. Let's take a look at that short volume yesterday. The short volume has been declining again. We saw what came from the earnings and then the arbitrage related to the notes, the convertible notes, and now short volume. Yesterday was 2.75 mil. So short volumes backed off a little bit on the stock in that regard. So yeah, 23.72, still great. I mean, if you zoom out on GameStop, where the stock was at a year ago, before Roaring Kitty pulled up on Reddit, before the pumps, May 3rd last year, stock was 12 bucks, hit a high of 17. It's trading at 23. There's nothing to be mad about. I understand why people are mad, because they bought the stock here last year at 60. They bought it at 33. They bought it at 45. They bought it at 50. Well, I mean, if you weren't selling calls along the way down, it's kind of hard to capture some of that premium or get some of your money back. Some average down, some have adjusted their position. I mean, there's all kinds of traders involved with the GameStop name. Shorts, longs, day traders, scalpers with contracts. I mean, those that sell premium, those that collect premium. So there's multiple sides to the trade. Let's see if we got any news this morning on GameStop. No new news. Any new filings? Because we talked about Larry Chang dropped another 100 grand and bought himself another 5,000 shares. He did that the same day Mr. Cohen did. Let's take a look at our volume this morning here on GameStop. $7,000 volume already? Really? Really? Let me double check. Is that right? No way that's right. Let's refresh this because that just didn't seem right. Is that yes? That had to be yesterday's volume. I'm looking on Nasdaq's website. Yesterday's volume was 12 million. 23. That's weird. Let me go to the real time here. Okay. 2389, so it's moving up a little bit. 2384 time of filming. So okay, here we go. Locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. Let's see what they're hitting on the flow already this morning. As we wrap up here. Let's see here. Just remember what I talked about too with the contracts changing hands, like that $25 call for January, those have changed hands. Sure, absolutely. So this morning it looks like $25 calls again hitting early, and then $22 puts for this week also showing up, being sold there. Quite a bit sold there this morning. So yeah, that's what I got for you. I hope you all have a fabulous day as GameStop bumps back up to $23.95. There you go. But if you watch the video all the way through, you're awesome. Just reply down below, strategies or options or covered call selling, call buying, put selling, put buying. Yeah, let me know down in the replies. But it is Wednesday, and I hope you all have a fabulous day. Good luck out there. Happy trading. Manage your risk. Try to make a few bucks. Try to lose a little less. That is the name of the game. I hope you all have a fabulous day, and we'll see you around real soon.